listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. Got a great show planned for you for this August the 7th, 2024. And happy birthday to all those that it's their birthday today, because there are people out there that it's their birthday, and I just wanted to say happy birthday to you. I'm not sure. Let's see here what we've got going on with our camera, to make sure that the my head's not cut off on the top. And these are the technical things we deal with on the fly. Yesterday, the microphone was interesting. Just had a glitch with our accessory. There's an accessory too. So there's 2 laptops, there's 3 laptops, a couple iPads, a few mixers, microphone, an iPhone, and then a couple accessories. The accessories could also have glitches. So, and between all the software that it takes to run the show as well, you just never know when something like this, takes place. But anyways, we roll with the punches and we get through the show, and it's going to be a great show regardless of whatever technical issues we encounter. We got off to a bit of a late start this morning, not due to a technical glitch. Well, maybe, possibly. One of the software programs was a bit slow this morning, but we got some local news. We're going to dive into some of the discussion that I promised yesterday that we are going to be talking about on the show, which is socialism, and if this country has the idea that socialism is the way to go. It's a utopian kind of world that everything is great and there's no problems with it, and we're working towards this ideology of something that's we feel has never been tried the way that it should be, but we're going to get it right somehow. We'll talk about that this morning. So welcome to the show. Thanks for being on, and we're going to get started with a little bit of weather. We'll be back with news headlines and your comments right after some weather. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. And today's weather brought to you as usual by Duck Check. Duck Check for your duct cleaning and inspection needs. You give them a call at 705-918-4848. Visit them online at duckcheck.com. Currently it's 14 degrees Celsius. It's partly cloudy. Today we can expect it to be sunny, high of 25. Humidex will be 26. So it'll ramp it up 1 degree with the Humidex. Tonight it'll be clear with a low of 13. Thursday, sunny early in the morning, then a mix of sun and cloud, 30% chance of showers late in the afternoon. And the high will be 25, UV index 26, same as today, although there's a chance of showers. So a look at your long-range forecast here. We'll just get that up on the big screen just because, it's 30% chance of showers, 40% chance of showers, 30%, 30%, 30%. So that means there's a 60% or 70% chance that there's not going to be showers for any of these days, but Thursday, 25, Friday, 22, Saturday will be 19, Sunday, 20, Monday, 25, all with a 30 or 40% chance of showers, and high of 28 on Tuesday with a mix of sun and cloud. And look at your satellite here. It's pretty darn clear over us right now, but you can see some of those clouds rolling in, and that's your weather brought to you by facebook.com. Give them a shout for your inspection, for your duct cleaning and inspection. Let them know we sent you, and you'll get $100 off your next service. So anyways, that's that. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. Okay, and we have a few people joining us this morning. Getting off to, again, a bit of a late start. Yesterday was an interesting show. So we got who we got, and we're going to have a show regardless today. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM. We're also streaming at cklu.ca. Catch us out on our live stream at facebook.com/Sudbury News and youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, and mainly comment, because we'll do our best to get your comments read for those listening and for those watching. Your comments up on the screen. It's your conversation on your station. CKLU, been around since 1984, started off in a little trailer, and now we broadcast from the corner of Elgin and Elm Street, the MacEwan School of Architecture. It's in the old Telegraph building, though. And we're grateful for our partnership with Laurentian University. And with that, the views expressed on this show from either myself, a co-host, a guest, or any of those commenting are not necessarily those of Laurentian University, its staff, or those of CKLU, its volunteers or staff. They are that solely of those that are commenting on this show. All right, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. And good morning, Judy. Thanks for being with us. First to the Facebook party. Mary Ann, good morning. Everyone from my favorite North Place. And that's liked and shared as usual. Appreciate that, Marianne. And Monique, good morning. Sudbury, sunshine emoji. Yep, we're going to get some sunshine. Jerome, good morning. Beautiful Manitoulin morning, everyone. Good, beautiful Manitoulin morning, everyone. You are definitely a Northern Ontario traveler, Jerome, all over the place. And thanks for constantly checking in with the show, no matter where you're at. We appreciate that. And Belinda, good morning. I usually have a positive statement of the day, positive message. A river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but its persistence. Let's continue to hold other people that need to be accountable. Great. Yes, a river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. And I've often talked, so let's hold people accountable that need to be. So I've often talked about that on the show, how those that have, a purpose, an agenda, something that we see in the government that's moving forward, that, it's not necessarily for the betterment of Canada or whatever country or civilization in general. They just don't stop, and then there's those that want to stop them from doing these things, and we will stop them, but then they continue. It's just like, we're the ones sitting on the beach building a sandcastle, and they're the water in a way. And, the tides go up and down, and no matter what, it's just eventually the tide comes in and takes your sandcastle. It's inevitable or something. But we need to learn on our side to be the water and be the ones constantly, consistently, persistently building good. And, but again, if the other side, has the power, has the control, has the money, has the laws, has the brawn, meaning military, police, and all this stuff, then I don't know. It's a battle of good versus evil. That's what this world is about. If you haven't caught on to that yet, then today's your day to realize that. Good is good, evil is evil. We need to figure out what is what. Now, there's many, there's prophecies out there that talk about in the last days, good will be called evil and evil will be called good. I think we're there. I think we're there. And it's up to us to figure out, to understand what good really is and what evil really is. And that's really why we're here having this experience at this moment. That's one of the purposes, the great purposes of life, is to figure that out. And then align yourself with one of those sides. Which side do you choose, right? All that because of Belinda. You always start me off in the morning. I really appreciate that. And Kevin, good morning. Good morning, my family and friends. Same to you, Kevin. I hope you're having a good day. Look forward to seeing you again soon. And Nana, good morning. Blessings all around. Same to you, Nana. Hope you're having a blessed morning along with you, Denise. Blessings, everyone. Wow, it seems to almost have a spiritual tone to it this morning, talking about blessings, good and evil, you name it. Each show seems to have a theme, and it kind of makes itself on the spot. Pat, good morning all. Good morning to you, Pat. Thanks for being with us. And Belinda, a conversation on your station. Yeah, that's what it is. CKLU's brand is your station. So it's your station. It's your campus and community radio station. And we have a conversation. I don't know if there's any other show, like I said yesterday, of its kind where you can actually just in real time just have a public conversation, and everyone's welcome to the party. And try and make sense of a confusing world. As more and more confusing it gets, I'm surprised there's not more of this out there. I really, really, honestly, truly am very surprised. I thought that this was almost the whole reason for the internet and technology itself, and to utilize it to try and make sense of what's going on out there, and move ourselves forward in a positive way together by utilizing technology in this way. But it's interesting. It's not too many. No one else is kind of doing it. So Marianne says, it's all done by design, thanks to the Commonwealth. Just saying. Okay, well, yeah, I'm sure there's characters. You know, there's only a few people that make decisions for the rest, right? A handful make decisions for the majority. It's less than 1% of 1% of people making the top decisions. They're at the top. Again, if you didn't realize this before, today's a new day. Today's a new day for all of us. Denise says, coast to coast across Canada, people are looking for leaders. And when one pops up, they tear them down because of their ego. We need more leaders and less crybabies. Sacrifices needed right now, and the only sacrifice they have is their money. Interesting. Yes, we do need more real leaders. We see less and less real leaders these days. I mean, leaders with integrity, values, morals, lived experience, where they've gained the experience in order to lead. Just true leaders. And we're hard pressed to find real leadership in the world. It's sad, really, but maybe, just maybe, things will turn around and things will change. Monique, Grand Rising, sun emoji and a heart emoji. Thank you so much. Marianne also says, as long as the fake monarchy is in charge, nothing will change. Yeah, I've heard a lot of theories on whether or not they're legitimate or not. And my mom has looked into that as well. And she was talking about that. And yeah, whether it's legit or not, I think they are wielding power. And they're definitely part of the small group of people that influence the decisions that are made for the rest of us. There's no doubt about it. We are at war, good against evil, and that is true. That is 100% true. And I think we can all relate to that, right? No matter what. There's a battle going on inside of us. It really goes back to that, the old cartoons where, an angel would pop up on one side, a devil would pop up on the other side of your shoulder, on one shoulder and another shoulder, and they'd try to influence you one for evil, one for good. I thought they nailed it with that. Belinda says it's only on the brink that people find the courage to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. We are at the precipice. Thank you, Belinda. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. Jerome, also, Belinda, we are the river that will cut through the deception. Perfect. There we go. There's our theme. The river. Marianne, their first move of bringing in technology has backfired on them. One of the reasons they have limited what we say and do with their technology. So technology in general, right? If you look into Nikola Tesla, what an amazing human being, what a mind, what an inspiration he is to me and to many others of what a person can do with knowledge and with inspiration. If you haven't learned about not Tesla the car or the company, Nikola Tesla, to which the band and the company are named after, have a peek, do a Google search, do a deep dive on Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, tomato, Nikola. So it looks like we might be back. So we're going to check in here with, we are going to check in with our Facebook friends here and see if we're indeed back on Facebook. I just hit stop and hit repeat. So I'm not sure if that solved the problem or not. This is one of the first times that this has happened, so we're just going to go with it. It says we're live, and we are on the radio, so I'm not sure if we're just going to continue solely on the radio. But we might have to do that. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We're on the radio. It is what it is. News headlines from Sudbury.news, your news aggregator. Check them out at Sudbury.news. All of the news located on one convenient webpage. A signed jersey owned by a child who died from cancer is stolen. Ottawa Senator's jersey was to be, okay, we're still on YouTube. Lost you on Facebook, but we're on YouTube. Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Not sure what's happening, guys, but we roll with the punches. That's what we do. So thanks everyone for joining. Now you have different handles and things, so appreciate the fact that you're letting me know that we're still live on video. Maybe other people will jump on YouTube. So anyways, yeah, an Ottawa Senator's jersey was stolen. It was to be used in an upcoming fundraiser for the local organization, Northern Ontario Families of Children with Cancer. So if anybody has seen a signed Ottawa Senator's jersey, it's a white jersey. I would just contact police and let them know that I think you might have found the stolen jersey. Algoma University students medal at the International AI Camp and Competition. That's from CBC. Algoma University student Mohammed Jamil won a gold medal at an artificial intelligence camp and competition in Stuttgart, Germany. I do know where that is. A lively residents today might experience discolored water. So you If you're from Lively, you may want to check that out. So yeah, we're down on Facebook, everyone. I guess they do not like Nikola Tesla. So let that be known to everybody. They don't want you to talk about Nikola Tesla. So I'm learning as I say certain things and you're booted off a certain platform, then you know they don't tell you these things. No one's going to tell you what they like and what they don't like. They just will ban you, shadow ban you, take your video off, freeze it when you say certain things. And so they go, oh, note to self, this particular platform does not like this particular subject or person, whatever we're discussing. So anyways, yeah, Lively residents, that's from the Sudbury Star, may experience some discolored water today. You can check that out at Sudbury Star. This is from Sudbury.com. Liberals borrow weird tactic from Democrats in latest attack on Pierre Poilievre. In a bid to import what some might call American-style politics, the Liberals are labeling federal conservative Pierre Poilievre weird with a new line of attack ads borrowed from the United States Democrats. Okay, well, there you go. Politics, right? Like you got to denounce and put down and stop your opponent rather than you just being who you are. You have to somehow bring down the other person to lift yourself up. Okay, a woman charged in Sudbury. Police find illegal drugs. That's just going to continue over and over and over and over. Officers find methamphetamines, tablets, and cocaine. That's Sudbury Star. Youth, Sudbury Youth, one of 12 United Church climate motivators. Lechien Duncanson Hales, or I hope I'm pronouncing his first name correct, joins 11 other young people that will spend their summer working with local congregations on issues of climate change. And so if you're looking at learning a little bit about that, we're going to have our Friday segment designated as on the topic of climate change. We've been doing that for a while. So anyone who's interested in that, including these students, tune in on Fridays. We'll have more information for you there that you can bring to your congregations and educate them on climate change. So we're doing our part here to help with the cause. So tune in on Fridays. A propane tank exploded and injured one person from Quebec. Taken to hospital after a propane tank exploded last weekend at a campground in Northern Ontario. Ouch. That's CTV Northern Ontario. If you want to check that out, ouch. That did some damage, boy. It's crazy how much a propane tank can do. So check that out. It's all located on Sudbury.news, your local news aggregator, all of the local news aggregated into one convenient location. I found this morning. We were talking about immigration yesterday and how, that nobody is against it, that I've run into, but we're against the policy and the aggressiveness of the policy. And interesting in the news, I don't know if anyone's been watching or not, or has been able to get it. It's not really in mainstream what's been going on in the UK. And there's like riots and stuff going on. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Doctor has a little bit on this. So we'll be back with a little bit of his coverage.
Well, the United Kingdom is currently descending into complete and total chaos. Race riots have broken out in major UK cities like Liverpool, Birmingham, Portsmouth, and Belfast between what appears to be mostly native British people and large groups of angry, knife-wielding Muslim men. Now, anyone paying attention to what has been going on in the UK over the past 6 or 7 years could easily tell you that something like this was always going to happen. The UK has opened the floodgates to mass immigration, especially over the last few years, mostly from the Muslim world. Millions of people have entered the UK, legally and illegally, with completely opposite cultural values, and oftentimes hostile cultural values to that of the native British people. And just like in Canada, the opposition to record levels of mass immigration is never met with equal levels of concern by the government. In fact, any opposition to mass immigration, whether it be in Canada, the United Kingdom, or any other Western nation, is either completely ignored or worse, it's used to silence the people speaking out by labeling anyone who raises any concern over immigration as a racist, a far-right agitator, or a xenophobe. You simply can't just silence people and back them into a corner when many people feel as though what is happening to their own communities is an invasion without expecting some sort of response. But even still, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer continues to dig the knife in an attempt to silence anyone who opposes mass immigration as far-right thugs, while completely ignoring the scenes of large crowds of angry Muslim men holding knives and other blunt objects. Now, all of this should be seen as a warning to Canada. If we do not course correct in our country with mass immigration, and if our government doesn't address the concerns of so many peaceful and well-meaning Canadians who simply want to slow down mass immigration, something like this could happen here in our country as well.
So do you think that? Do you think something like this, do you think that's where it's headed here as well? And Bob is saying that in London, it's 63% of non-born Brits living in London. So it's more people, it's more immigrants than it is people that were born there. 63% to 27%. 37%, my math here. Yep, 63% to 37%. Crazy. I didn't realize that was the ratio. But again, can we see this particular can we see this happening in Canada? I don't know. I think it's possible. I think if it continues, because it's not stopping. You remember when they said they were slowing down the amount of student visas because of, the idea of all these colleges, and a lot of nefarious things going on with international students and colleges, and a lot of illegal things happening, or at least perceived. Students were coming here and a lot of promises were made that they didn't have enough housing. It was just overboard. And there was a backlash, and then some colleges shut down, and it looked like they were stopping doing that. Right? So, but since then, student visas actually on the rise. So there's still more student visas. So it's not really slowing down. Thank you very much. Only cowards censor or cancel. Yeah, it's true. Like they're afraid of words. I don't know. They're afraid of our show. We only have maybe 500 to 1,000 people eventually watching the show, even on demand. Like that's really something that scares people. I don't know. It's a small show in a small city, a small period of time every day. I don't know why people make way too much of it. So we were talking about socialism. Well, I wanted to talk about socialism all week, and then glitch yesterday with the mic, or booted off Facebook today. What's next? Well, I don't even want to ask that. But here's the point I was making yesterday about, what's worse, the government or billionaires? And socialism really points the finger at billionaires. And you hear it all the time. Capitalism is the devil and all this stuff, right? And here Reason Magazine makes a case on this subject. So check it out.
Where did Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson get off spending their own money to go into space when we already have a scandal-ridden and incompetent public agency for that very purpose? All Richard Branson ever did was give away half his fortune after foisting Tubular Bells and the Sex Pistols on the world. All Jeff Bezos ever did was make a year-long pandemic bearable by creating the company that delivered everything we wanted to our doors within hours. Maybe Elon Musk is a welfare queen, but as long as he's spending his own Dogecoin and living in a $50,000 prefab house, who are we to judge? If AOC's former policy guy is right that every billionaire is a policy failure, then the remedy is taking the wealth they accumulated and appropriating it for the government, which is really just another name for the things we do together, like manning 800 military bases in over 70 countries and spending more on defense than the next 11 nations combined, or wasting half a century punishing people for recreational drug use and putting more Americans per capita in prison than Cuba, Russia, and China. Or passing massive COVID relief bills that only spend 5% of their totals on actual COVID relief. There are 724 American billionaires worth a total of $4.4 trillion, according to Forbes. It's a list that includes entertainment moguls like Steven Spielberg and Tyler Perry, and lawyer-in-training Kim Kardashian. If it were somehow possible to liquidate all of that wealth without causing a market crash that would obliterate most of it in the process, we could cover roughly half a year of combined local, state, and federal spending.
I'm going to ride a rocket into space, and it's going to look just like my dick.
Instead of mocking billionaires and their penis-shaped rockets, millionaires like Jon Stewart and Jason Alexander should take aim at the federal government, which is the biggest dick in the room by a few orders of magnitude. Our national debt is around $22 trillion and will continue to climb in the years to come, so that by 2050, just paying interest on the debt will account for about a quarter of every dollar the federal government spends. That kind of debt correlates strongly with sharply reduced economic growth, which is the only proven way of improving living standards over time. In the years to come, the U.S. will have no choice but to raise taxes on everyone and slash Medicare and Social Security, which are the biggest budget busters. But by then, it'll be too late for a generation of elderly people to plan accordingly. And a U.S. debt crisis could destroy the dollar and undermine our entire economy. There's no way to confiscate enough wealth to stave off our looming fiscal catastrophe. So instead of harping on rich people and their rockets, let's start talking about the looming debt crisis fueled by insane government spending and come up with an actual way to avert catastrophe.
I don't know. I think that made a lot of sense. And we constantly in our society hear how bad rich people are. And, you hear Jagmeet Singh always talking about the owner of, Loblaws and stuff like that, and how they're greedy. The greedy corporate people. But what about greedy government people? Like Justin Trudeau just increased the government, pretty much doubled the government in the whole time he was in office. Like that takes taxpayers' money to pay for it. He didn't raise that money to afford to hire all those people in the federal government. So it's not even his money, but yet they point the finger at people who actually earn it. They actually went out of their way and earned the money themselves. We are right on the tipping point. We are so getting to be socialist. Like we are already socialist, but I'm talking about socialist to the point of, really just like Venezuela type of thing, socialism. So speaking of that, Venezuela socialism, I got a short video here just talking about it. Check in.
To boot out their socialist dictator. Meet Nicolas Maduro. While his people are starving and eating rats, he's often busy feasting on steak dinners. That's socialism for you. There was just recently an election in Venezuela. Maduro claims to have won, but so does the opposition party. Given Maduro's track record, I know who I'm inclined to believe. Protests are growing in the streets. A statue of Hugo Chavez, the original Venezuelan socialist dictator, was even ripped down. Maduro has threatened to arrest the opposition leader. Some 700 protesters have been arrested, and some have even been killed. Leaders all around the world are condemning Maduro, including here in Canada. Hopefully this can come to a peaceful conclusion and socialism can come to an end in Venezuela. You can learn more about what it's really like to live in a socialist country by heading to secondstreet.org/socialism. Click.
There you go, secondstreet.org/socialism. So what? Why would someone be against socialism? It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, they're just not able to do it right down in Venezuela, right? Like if they would just get it right, like a lot of people are, hoping to do here in this country and in the United States. Like what about Bernie Sanders? I mean, he's got it right? Democratic socialism. They want our healthcare down there, right? It works so good for us here. Like, why not have it there? Anyways, John Stossel, one of my favorite journalists here. And good morning, Miles, by the way. Thanks for tuning in while you're waiting at the hospital. As you know, we're not on Facebook right now. We're only on YouTube. So anyways, John Stossel, take it away.
Venezuelans are dying in huge amounts.
Venezuela was once the richest country in Latin America. It still has the world's biggest oil reserves. But 20 years ago, Venezuelans voted for socialism. They elected Hugo Chavez. Some Americans were excited about that. Model Naomi Campbell visited Chavez, calling him a rebel angel.
This is you and Hugo Chavez. Oh, Michael Moore!
Really?
he says, help me write my speech.
He is one of the most important forces we've had on this planet.
And even today, as Venezuela collapses, many Americans say, don't blame socialism.
Actually, blaming socialism for Venezuela's riches to rags story is grossly misleading.
Yes, Venezuela is going through an insane political crisis right now, but it's not clear that that crisis has anything to do with their socialist policies.
This popular video, The Collapse of Venezuela Explained, never once mentioned socialism.
Oil prices plummeted in 2014, and Maduro failed to adjust.
Media personalities suggest only conservatives say socialism destroyed Venezuela.
If you follow conservative media at all, you may have seen it frequently painted as the inevitable, dire consequences of a socialist government.
The problem isn't socialism, says John Oliver.
It's a story about epic mismanagement.
But mismanagement is what happens under socialist governments. It always happens, because no group of central planners is wise enough to manage an entire economy. Even if they have good intentions, the socialists eventually run out of other people's money. The socialist solution then is to print more. That caused massive inflation.
The nation's failed economy is expected to hit 10 million% inflation this year.
When business owners raised prices to keep up with inflation, government often took away their businesses.
¿Y este edificio? Es un edificio que tiene comercio privado de joyería. Exprópiese.
¡Por Dios! This man just had his business taken. Socialists say government can run businesses better than greedy owners who just want profit. And even though that led to tyranny in Venezuela and China and Russia, Korea, Vietnam, Cambodia, Cuba.
There are plenty of socialist countries that look nothing like Venezuela.
When I talk about democratic socialism, I'm not looking at Venezuela. I'm not looking at Cuba. I'm looking at countries like Denmark and Sweden.
Oh yes, those countries do have bigger welfare programs than America does. But they are not socialist. They make a point of saying that. Here's Denmark's prime minister.
Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy. Denmark is a market economy.
Not only that, lately they've reduced government control of their economy. They privatized the national phone system and the railroads, and they sold Copenhagen Airport to a private company. It's the same story in Sweden.
We did have a period in the 1970s and 1980s when we had something that resembled socialism, a big government that taxed and spent heavily, and that's the period in Swedish history when our economy was going south.
So Sweden reduced government's role too. They even instituted school choice. The Scandinavian countries that progressives call socialist successes, not only are they not socialist, they're moving more toward capitalism. The silver lining in Venezuela's collapse is that most Venezuelans who escaped their country's socialism do understand what went wrong. In Florida, reporter Gloria Alvarez asked Venezuelan immigrants,
"What do you think about socialism?"
That doesn't work.
So no se lo recomendaría a nadie.
Well, it's never going to work. It's never going to work.
Do you think that people, once they get out of Venezuela, do they understand that the problem is socialism?
I think that a great percentage of them do. The problem is a socialist system that they tried to make work, but that has never worked and will never work.
It will never work. As Ludwig von Mises wrote, the champions of socialism promised the Garden of Eden, but planned to transform the world into a gigantic post office. Every man a subordinate clerk. I wish progressives understood that. Since they don't, tragedies like Venezuela will happen again and again.
So you can see why
Venezuelans are dying
love
in huge
John
amounts.
Stossel.
For
He's,
2,300
very friendly,
years,
makes
Europe
good
has
points.
been
He's able to,
dominated by Rome,
get
starting with the Caesars
word
of Rome, the
okay,
Augustus
we got
Caesar,
another
the first
video
emperor.
screen.
In the last 1,600 years has been under the
Okay.
Catholic.
So, yeah, I just really appreciate his style of reporting, and it opens up a conversation. It feels very conversational. And again, if there's people listening on the show that feel that communism or socialism is the way to go, that's what our country needs, I would love you to just drop me a line at sudburynews@gmail.com. Come on the show. Love to have a conversation with you about that, of why you feel you can bring some some facts and figures with you about how socialism has worked in other countries and why we need it here, and how good socialism has worked for our country, and why our universal medical system is working so well, and it's top notch compared to other countries and things like that. I'd have no problem having that discussion here. So I know as people listen, they're probably like, oh, I've heard people say, oh, John Stossel, he's not, oh, he's an authority on this subject. Meaning, well, did you hear what he said though? Can you debate the points that he just made? Can you do that? If you can, then step out of the bubble, come on the show, say it publicly. That's what I don't appreciate about a lot of people that, have these beliefs that communism or socialism is the way to go, but yet you can't really back up your points. There's no evidence of that it's ever worked before. So you're just going to look into the future and say it will work if, and it goes along with a meme, I think, that Brian, who comes on the show quite a bit and comments and has been on the show before, Brian Pouling, he shared a meme on his Facebook, and it was a fox at a podium saying, if you vote for me, I promise to be vegetarian. And all around him was thousands of sheep kind of thing. So it was a fox saying, vote for me and I promise to be vegetarian, to millions of sheep. Or it was a wolf. Whatever it was, a wolf, a fox. Still, it kind of shows you the mentality, right? These promises that are being made by these politicians with nothing to show that it's ever worked before, truly. And the examples they're using are false. They're not really socialist countries, as we saw John Stossel point out. But people will still continue to use those points as if it's gospel doctrine, But once you hear that, your whole belief in this socialism utopia won't exist. It can't exist. So why would your socialist utopia be any different than any of the others in history? How is it going to be different if you have the answer to that and you feel very strongly that that's the solution? Like my professor in university said, that China is the model for us, believed it through and through, was a communist through and through, bled communism. If you believe that and you're able to, defend your belief, I think you should just come on and just let people know. And I just simply want to ask you questions. I won't even prepare. I'll just ask you questions because I'm really curious about your beliefs and why you think communism or socialism is the way to go. And just, do you want to be public with it? Are you able to do that? I've heard many people say it to me personally. I said, hey, you should come on the show. They're like, no. So I don't know why. If you feel very convicted about something, that you don't want to put it on display. But anyways, I'm ranting. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Sorry for the glitches, everyone, on the show today. Bizarre. Facebook went down. We're on YouTube, at least. And sorry for the discombobulated show. I did my best under the circumstances to get her done. But hopefully tomorrow it'll be a better day, a better show. And we'll continue on. So thanks for being with us, those that have stuck around. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Have a great one, everyone. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.